There are lots of quick, easy ways that you can add extra decoration onto your cake, and none so easy as using these lovely embossed rolling pins. Ideally, they need to be used in conjunction with a plain rolling pin where you roll out your marzipan or your sugar paste, which can be coloured or dusted. And then once you've lined your board, you can then use the embossed rolling pin to create a lovely indentation and pattern, which adds lots of interest and a simple way to decorate your cakes. The other way that you can use these is if you roll out your sugar paste and then cut out shapes, so like hearts or flowers, which you can then use to mirror the design from the board further onto the cake itself. So working with the sugar paste, again I'm going to knead this so that it's nice and pliable and malleable to work with. I'm only going to need about half a block to cover an 11-inch round board, which is about the right size for an 8-inch round cake. We generally use our boards 3 inches larger than the cakes that we're covering, so that it gives a good amount of space around the outside of the cake, but not so much. Having a lined board is a really professional way of showcasing your cakes. When you line right up to the edge and then finish with a ribbon, it's a really professional finish, which can make a smaller cake suddenly look a lot larger. And by using this technique where you have an embossed lined board, you can set then your individual crown cakes on the board, and again it creates a lovely showpiece plate for them. Using the plain rolling pin, even pressure, nice quarter turn, even pressure. And you only need to roll this sugar paste large enough that it will fit the surface of the board. The thickness of the board itself is around 12 millimetres. So we're aiming for a thickness on the sugar paste of around 3 millimetres, because the ribbon that we apply around the edge of the board tend to come in 15 millimetre widths. And it means then that it sits nice and flush with the surface of the icing once it's fixed around the board. So once you've rolled it out to the right size, use the little Venice smoother to ensure that all the undulations and ripples have gone from the icing. And you do this before it goes onto the board. And then take the pastry brush and just brush the board with a little cooled water. This just helps the icing to stick to the surface. And then carefully lift the icing up and onto the board. Allow it to fall. Take the smoother again and rub that over the surface of the board so that it's nice and smooth and has stuck. And then lift it up with a sharp blade and use that to trim away the excess around the outside so that you get a very flush finish against the board. And it's really important to wipe the knife between each slice so that you don't put any icing crumbs into the finish, so that it stays really clean and smooth. Use the smoother again just to smooth around the outside. And while the icing is still soft but freshly applied, choose the rolling pin that you want with the different embossed design. I'm going to take this one with lots of swirly pattern, and then on the surface of the icing, apply pressure as you evenly take that across the surface of the sugar paste. And then when you get to the other side, if you do need to retrim, because you will have applied some pressure there, just carefully retrim again with the knife. And you'll see that you've created a lovely damask print embossed effect on the surface of the sugar paste. And now you can leave that to firm up overnight before you put your freshly covered cake on the top.